For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Good morning. So nice to have you join us today. Are you glad that the rain is finally behind us? A few sunny days coming our way for a while. Kind of boost your mood a little bit, don't you think? Charles Miller is here to kick things off with us with Scenic City Neurotherapy. And fittingly, I guess, your topic was kind of a visual aid today, but we're talking about depression and anything that's kind of affecting your outlook on life mentally. Right. And you're going to explain to us through a visual how that works. But I made a simple example of the rain, but I was kind of depressed. I was feeling kind of low.
Yeah, there's that circumstantial low, and then there's that low that persists even when things are pretty good objectively. You look at your world and the world looks like it should feel better than it does.
Yeah. So I did use that as a relatability connector, because I'm not trying to in any way minimize what to really struggle with depression. But if you were feeling a little bit low with the rainy weather, then just imagine that day in and day out, and there really isn't, you think, a hope in sight. That's where you step in to help people. Right.
It's we look at a rainy day and we're just like, oh, that's kind of gross outside, and it does kind of bring the mood down. Now imagine being trapped in that even on the pretty days, even when the good things are happening, when family and friends are around you, yet you still can't seem to shake that low feeling or even just a flat feeling.
Right.
That's where we work.
So you are here very often. This is probably not a new concept or conversation for a lot of people to hear, but usually it is just kind of talk. This morning you did bring this visual because you talk about this, what do you call it, neurogenesis?
Neurogenesis,
and that's what you're showing us?
It's not just growth, but it's the brain's ability to rebuild in a healthy, natural way.
Okay, so I like an example. So Joe comes in to see you, and Joe is 38 years old, and he's a veteran. And he's really struggling with PTSD and just some other things that are making life challenging for him. First thing with Joe is he's going to just talk to you, right?
Yeah, we need to make sure that Joe understands what this is and what the goals of this therapy are. It's not perfection, it's not feeling good, it's feeling everything correctly. Which means that if he's sitting in the dark at home, not doing anything, that's never going to feel good. And nothing we can do can make that feel good. So what we do does not make people feel better, it makes them feel their world correctly, so when they do better, they get to feel the good.
So if you are Joe and you're currently taking medication, would your argument be that that's not helping you feel what you need to be feeling either, because it's kind of masking the emotion?
Yeah, medication has a stabilizing role, so it definitely has its place, but at the same time too, a lot of times when we talk to Joe, what brings them into my office is they've been taking the medication and they're not content with that process. They don't feel good still. They just feel, when it works, they feel less bad, but they also feel less everything.
Okay.
Which is not desirable, especially over the long term.
Okay, so when Joe comes to you, you kind of do your own assessment, but it's not a visual assessment. You don't really look and see what his brain looks like at that moment, do you?
No, we don't send him for brain imaging because that adds substantially to the cost and doesn't treat anything. It would just be looking to diagnose. We diagnose based off of symptomatology the way we've always diagnosed in mental health.
Okay.
It's patient reported, because at the end of the day, if the patient doesn't feel better, then there is no meaningful better.
So let's get to these visuals then that you did bring with you today, because what is it that we're noticing in them? What are we looking for?
So what we found is that our ability to feel is based on, all of our emotions and feelings are like reactions. They're like reflexes. We don't choose our feelings, otherwise nobody would ever choose to feel bad.
Right.
It's something happens around us and it creates a visceral, physical, or emotional response. Like like any reflex, if we tap the knee, the leg kicks.
Sure.
When something happens around us, it evokes an emotional or response to whatever's happening.
Okay.
Now, when that emotional response is incorrect for what we objectively see, like something as simple as, say, crossing the street, it should produce a small stress response, but it should produce a small one, not a large one. If crossing the street produces, a level 10 stress response, yet we know it's only a level 2 stressor, that's an inappropriate reaction. The patient's not choosing to stress excessively over this. It's just happening. They're the victim of their own emotions.
So what you have found with these images that we can see is that when they go through treatment with you, you can literally see the brain cell regrowth. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, because when we talk about like we know it does what it does is because we have a decade plus of research and brain imaging showing it does what it does.
So I mean, I'm a simple girl, kinda. Let's use this. You have your week summer vacation. You were stressed out, man, at work. You were brain fog, tense, the whole thing. And then it's day 2 of your vacation. You think, gosh, I feel so much better. That's because your environment has changed.
Yeah, your environment does play a huge role, and just the amount of stress you're under each day, you have to recover. Have you noticed it takes a couple days for your brain to recover from the daily in and out stress, of just normal life, let alone excessive stress or inappropriate emotional responses to stress.
So if we've all experienced that phenomenon without your benefit, it's easy to correlate and see how it would work and what the brain really is capable of.
Your brain is capable of fixing this all by itself. It's just a very slow process. And so with the normal daily stressors, it takes a day or two and you're like, oh, I start to feel me again. I'm able to relax and be present.
So when people come to you, Joe, you don't really give Joe a pass to step back from his life. He just has to be willing to work the process to get back into it effectively.
And sometimes that does mean to step back, sometimes that means to engage more. It's very individualized. Like what we do after determines where and how the brain grows.
You mentioned it's a slow process. Is there a basic length of time?
It just depends on which treatment path. Usually within 4 to 6 weeks, we start to see, like that's what it takes to get to meaningful change. It's not like flicking a light switch.
4 to 6 weeks is a pretty short period of time.
If
you've been battling for years.
We say it's rapid acting. That's what we mean. Is that within a few days, you can start to feel early changes. But before we see what we call meaningful, lasting change, like if we just stopped everything right now and walked away, we're not going backwards.
Is success impacted by your family and friendship support?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I encourage when people come in for their consultations, bring in your spouse, parent, friend, a second set of ears that you trust so that later y'all can compare everything. Because we dump a lot of information on you in an hour. And it's, understanding what this is and what the goals are with this process determines success because the patient's understanding of what success is. If they know where the finish line is, they know when we reach it.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that have to determine. They are the scientists and the science experiment here.
I have talked to Charles every month for a couple of years now, and we never run out of things to talk about. And I always am learning more when he comes. Last time you were here, we had a conversation off camera, and you said, I love it when a skeptic comes my way. Because I can explain I can explain it to them.
Yeah.
So you come with all of your questions, all your skepticisms, all of your yeah buts that you can think of, and he will address each and every one of them. At ScenicCityNeuro.com is the website. Phone number 228-0579. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Trevor. Welcome to the Hemp House. Let me show you where the treats are.
Our selection of local products allows the Hemp House to bring a little calm to life's journeys, whether you're blessed with 4 legs or just 2. The Hemp House, 4 locations to serve you or online at hemphousechat.com.
Hello, I'm